What's going on, guys? It is Sunday night. It means it is time for the I-71 Playbook Podcast. I am BB, and with me, as always, is the wonderful BC.
Hi, BB. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I was watching a little playoff football. We won't talk about last night. I know it was a rough night for you on Michiganders.
Not ready for tomorrow night. I'm not ready to talk about last night. Not ready.
Yeah.
Too
Okay,
soon.
that's all right. That's all right. We'll let that go. Like the Lions defense let that go. Sorry, too soon.
Dude.
Hey,
I told you with what we're going to talk about, this may be the time that we actually do fight, and you're getting ready to do, like, I've had 2 days of hockey games, sir. So I'm ready to drop the gloves.
Put her in the penalty box already. This is stop it. Stop the fight right now.
I will take 5 for fighting all day long, and I'm gonna come out of the box. I'm gonna do it again. So
no, I'll let the hey, all joking aside, I was rooting for the Lions too. That was I think I told you earlier that I turned the game on, got home last night, turned the game on right before the half, and it was 31-24, and I just I literally thought there was something wrong with the graphic. I couldn't believe that the score was 31-24 at the half in an NFL game, let alone a playoff game. Like,
yeah, it was bad. But you know what? The defense had some issues, and they were able to string it along for as long as they could, and they broke and set records this year. So I'm incredibly proud of them. It stings a lot, but what I will say, go Buffalo. So there's that.
Oh, yeah, that game will be starting here in a little bit. We're filming here. Is it this start at 7?
It started at 6:30 actually.
Oh, wow! I was deep in my studies tonight, so I did not have the game on. So, but speaking of bad football,
hey,
let's talk Browns.
Oh, what a segue! Woo! I like it. Look at you, like a pro.
So,
a little news though on the in the Browns front.
We do got a couple things to bring up, so I'll let you lead off here.
Well, we have hired our offensive coordinator. We are promoting from within someone who, it's kind of like the Jeffersons of the Browns. Apparently, he's moving on up. He started as a ball boy, and now he is our offensive coordinator, Mr. Tommy Rees.
Tommy Rees, so highly thought about. He was probably gonna get a job offer from Mike Vrabel in New England. Vrabel looked like he wanted to steal him. I'm not sure if it was offensive coordinator or quarterback.
Still hurts.
I know your boy's gone next year. Nick Saban, I saw an interview with him a couple of years ago. Tommy Rees was his offensive coordinator just 2 years ago. Speaks very highly of him. Brian Kelly, who Tommy Rees quarterback for at Notre Dame. He is I think he's like number 2 or number 3 on Notre Dame's all-time touchdown list at quarterback, which is pretty esteemed. Brian Kelly was trying to get him to come to LSU next year, so the Browns saw potential and scooped him up. I love the hire. I really do. I'm all for young, energetic, imaginative coordinators. I really am. He's, I believe, 32 years old, and I don't know if you have anything to say about it, but I can't tell you. I have an idea what this means for the Browns offense going forward.
With a lot of things that are all things off-season and Browns, I'm cautiously optimistic for right now. I'm not going to go all in on it and get excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. I do believe that it means that first of all, what it's going to mean is Stefanski's taking over the play calling again.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a thing. The only reason he gave it over to Dorsey, in my opinion, was to save his job this year.
I'm going to play detective here in a second.
What's that?
You know how I like to play detective with the Browns. And
you do.
I have a theory.
Okay.
We're going to go to theory corner here in a second.
But I can definitely, I'm with you. I'm here for the young, the energetic, the imaginative. because clearly what they tried this season didn't work. So if we could go back to potentially what did work, or come out of the box with some other things that could potentially work. Listen, it's only stupid if it doesn't work, right? So we'll have to see.
So
what is this theory? Tell me now.
So a couple things. First of all, I'm 100% agree with you. Kevin Stefanski, I believe, was kind of stripped of some powers last year at the as Watson was come back. He is the offensive he's calling the plays last year. Van Pelt's the offensive coordinator. The Browns are a top 5 offense in Joe Flacco's 5 starts. And Joe Flacco, I think yardage wise, was the number 2 quarterback in the NFL during his starts there. I mean, they were flying. They were a very, very potent offense. And you were talking about the Lions earlier in our discussions earlier, their defense being kind of put together with Band-Aids. That was the Browns offense last year, if you don't remember.
Yeah.
And, they lit it up under Stefanski's play action system. It was West Coast offense. And the season ends and we get the news that the offensive coordinator has been fired. We find out from the really scathing article on The Athletic. I don't know if you read Jason Lloyd's article in The Athletic this past weekend. Browns fans, once again, must read. Take about 10, 15 minutes every day if you want to know what was going on with Deshaun Watson and the Browns this year. But they force, and I'm pretty sure this was not Stefanski's call. They forced Stefanski to let Van Pelt go. They bring in Dorsey to run an off, more of an RPO style offense for Deshaun Watson. And we all know how this ended. We're not going to rehash the 3-14 season.
We've already done it.
But I have a feeling, and I had this feeling when Kevin Stefanski gave play calls to Ken Dorsey. I think Kevin Stefanski had enough and said, "Okay, you guys go. It's yours now. Do it." Obviously, you know more than I do. And we saw that was, absolutely a horrid decision to let Ken Dorsey call plays. The offense never got better. It showed some signs with Jameis Winston. It's just because, Jameis can throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field, unlike Deshaun Watson. So what I think happened here is, as we had 3-14, I think Kevin Stefanski was actually, oddly enough, emboldened by this result, proven right by this result. And what we see with the hire of Tommy Rees, not only is he kind of I imagine he's kind of a disciple of Kevin Stefanski's now. I did some looking at some film on Alabama's offense a couple years ago, and we're gonna talk about Alabama's quarterback here in a second. A name I like everybody out there to keep in mind, has draft seasons coming up, Mr. Jalen Milroe. We'll talk about that in a second, but Alabama under Tommy Rees was a heavy play action RPO offense.
Okay.
It looks very similar to what Kevin Stefanski runs, except for a little more RPO, little more shotgun. But they pull guards, they move the line. It looks like a wide zone running game, very much like the Browns were running with Stefanski and Bill Callahan when he was here. So Tommy Rees's hire tells me the same thing, that Kevin Stefanski is going to be calling plays, and also that they are going back to the offensive philosophy I think we all liked up until this year with Stefanski's West Coast play action, with Tommy Rees's reliance on play action, RPO, heavy run. We're going to see a lot of run sets. So I think you're going to see a lot of attention not just paid to the quarterback position, but I think we're going to see a revamped backfield also. And it's going to play to the strengths of the offensive line, which obviously whatever the abomination of offense they were doing last year did not.
Yeah, it was. The only thing that we can say about our offense last year is it was offensive.
Absolutely.
That they put the offense in an offensive line, like holy Lord.
Yeah, and we were talking, what our next couple of weeks are going to look like before the pod, and there's obviously going to be very, very heavy as we get ready for the combines coming up, Senior Bowls coming up, all that fun stuff. We're going to get into draft season, silly season. I mean, free agency will be here in 6 weeks. It'll be here before we know it. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? And the draft will be here in a few months. One name though, once again, I'm still the conductor of the Cam Ward to Cleveland Browns train. If he survives, going past the first pick, because I think Tennessee's going to take him. I still not a huge fan of Shedeur Sanders. I am not beyond because I'm not beyond the thought that the Browns might take Jalen Milroe with the number 2 pick. It will be a very early surprise. Sorry, I'm getting my notes back here. A very early surprise of the draft. But what's going to happen here, and once again, we're getting into that season. Tommy Rees and Jalen Milroe they were a unit at Alabama. I don't think that's a coincidence. Also, Jalen Milroe, this kid already has his master's degree, highly intelligent, highly coachable. He will probably run a sub 4.40 as a quarterback. Has a good arm. He's got some mechanical issues for sure.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the issues that he may have had this year were due to a new system. Once again, Nick Saban leaving, a new offensive system. I think, but there were times I'm thinking the Georgia game. I was in Vegas watching that game, and I just watched him light up Georgia. And I'm like, yeah, this kid. And they were talking Heisman at that point. Obviously, Alabama kind of fell off. They had a couple losses there, but don't be surprised if there's a lot of smoke between the Browns and Jalen Milroe in the next couple months. I feel that in my gut. I'm not saying, like I said, they're taking a quarterback. I hope it's Cam Ward, and I know I know your feelings on Cam Ward.
Listen, I mean, here's the deal, and it's not really a secret. We haven't discussed it on the pod, but you and I discussed it at length. The thing about Cam Ward, okay, and I understand, dude, you're playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which now has become my favorite of all bowl games because the just sheer amount of unhinged. It was magic. I'm here for it.
It cracks me up because you see all the Nickelodeon stuff for the NFL, and they have their own broadcast and slime time and all that stuff. It still doesn't hold a candle to the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
No,
not at all.
No, it doesn't. You put a CGI starfish between the two goalposts. No, that doesn't even crack the top 10 of what the Pop-Tarts Bowl does as being unhinged.
If people didn't see it, they literally sacrificed a living Pop-Tart at the end of the game, and the winning team ate it.
Correct. But here's the other thing. They brought back the zombie version of the cannibalized Pop-Tart from last year.
Yeah.
What? I will say, though, with the Pop-Tarts Bowl and how the bar was up here for how unhinged and just amazing it was, 3 days later, you have the Cheez-Its Bowl, and it's the same marketing team.
Yeah.
And it was such a letdown. I was so bummed. But, okay, so with all that aside, Cam Ward is going for, I don't remember offhand what record it's in.
I believe, and I can get corrected in dimensions, I believe it was, he was going for Miami's single-season touchdown record, which was held by our favorite, Bernie Kosar.
Was it touchdowns? I want to say it was closer to yardage.
It might have been yardage. It was whatever it was Bernie's record, and
right.
Yeah.
So he gets that, and then now here's the deal. If they took him out, if it was a coaching decision to take him out and be like, you know what, you got your record, we'll take it from here. Okay, that's something. You got to listen to your coach, right? He went to the coaching staff and was like, I'm out. I'm done. And he decided to sit. Now, if Miami would have pulled that game out and if they would have won, be a totally different conversation. Because if they had a comfortable lead, if they had a strong sense of, we've got this game, now we're going to put it on cruise, we're going to maintain, let's go get us a Pop-Tart. Up until the, 2-minute warning, it was a dogfight. And So the fact that now Miami loses and your star quarterback, who is a runner-up for the Heisman, who made a lot of noise, who was making season records and things like that, could they potentially have won the game with him in it? Like, for me, and again, I know we quote this movie a lot on the pod because it's amazing. But to quote Draft Day, dude, it's a character thing for me. Like, again, if it was a coaching decision, that's one thing. But if you go to your coaches and are like, I'm tired, boss.
So
you quit.
So if you start talking about Cam Ward's 21st birthday, we're gonna have a problem. Just letting you know.
Did they go to his party?
Deep dot. Here's a deep cut for you Draft Day fans. So
at least you know what? At least Diddy's not his agent, so we're safe there.
So I'm not going to argue on any points made. Like it's my thing is, once again, we're at a meaningless bowl. He did play a half game. He did go in the locker room with a lead. I just, like, to me, it doesn't matter because and the thing is when you look into Cam Ward, and let's throw that half of football out of the way here.
Mm-hmm.
You what you hear intangible wise, he's a leader,
right?
Infectious. Guys go to battle with him. A lot of the same things we're seeing with Will Howard right now. You hear those same descriptions for Cam Ward. I don't think anybody on that Miami sideline, anybody in that coaching staff, and really anybody in Miami was really upset about losing the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Because he could have easily just sat. No shoulder pads, no warm-ups. And so I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried about is, can we get a quarterback in here that can manage a huddle, that can run an offense, that didn't take 2 years to learn an offense, Deshaun. Once again, in the Jason Lloyd article, there was a comment, and then, I'm not sure what Brown it was, but one of the Browns anonymously said it took Joe Flacco 30 days what it took Deshaun Watson couldn't do in 2 years, which was learn that playbook. Yeah. I can't wait till the autopsy of Deshaun Watson's time in the Browns, like till the tell-all book comes out. I have to imagine that guy's just the worst. That's just the absolute worst. But anyway,
there's no speculating about it.
Yeah. I mean, just as a teammate, like, how can you like, you sat out for 11 games your first season? How are you not learning the playbook? Yeah, 11 weeks. Like, how do you not know anyway, I digress. But
so I do have a question for you, though, to kind of circle it back.
Yep.
So hypothetically, just to play devil's advocate here, so if we do take Milroe at number 2 during the silly season, a lot of veteran QBs that are either going to be free agents or going to be released. Who do you bring in to not necessarily start for the Browns, but at least to give Milroe a little bit of support, like a little bit of some mentoring? Who do you bring in?
I don't, we don't know. And I'm just, guessing on the Milroe thing, but I'm just trying to connect dots here. But I just got a feeling that I don't think Jalen Milroe slips past the first round, no matter who gets him or no matter what happens, he's going to be a first round quarterback this year. Regardless, the Browns QB room, you're going to see 2 veterans. I think they're going to bring one in to start specifically. Like, you're going to be our starter. They're going to draft a quarterback, and they're going to draft a quarterback high. I want people to get that through the number 2 pick doesn't come along every now and then. There is the one consensus is there's 2 quarterbacks that are first round picks. Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward. I think Jalen Milroe is going to play himself into there, and don't be surprised if a guy like Jackson Dart gets taken in the first round too, because it's just what happens to quarterbacks.
It all comes down to the combine. I mean,
yeah,
because truthfully, if you look at last year's combine, and I know we're not a fan of where he matriculated from, but JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
There were diehard Michigan fans that didn't even know if the kid had an arm because they wouldn't let him throw. So he wasn't really high on anybody's draft board until the combine. And the combine went out, was an absolute beast, and went from maybe late second round, maybe third round, possibly. They were looking at him going, first of all, where has this kid been? And second of all, now we're looking first round. And unfortunately,
yeah, I mean,
injured all season. So
not to pour salt in the wound, but I don't think anybody last year at this time was saying Jaden Daniels was going to be a sure thing. And I know he lit the Lions up last night, but I mean that kid can ball. I know for a fact nobody thought Bo Nix was going to be a first round pick.
Yeah,
Denver saw something in him, and the kid balled out this year. I'm sure JJ McCarthy is going to be a good NFL quarterback. So right now it's really early to say that we know for sure. Once again, I really think you're going to see Milroe, Jackson Dart, maybe even Will Howard. Once again, Pat McAfee, we were talking about Will Howard being underappreciated as a prospect last week. Pat McAfee went on a tangent this week about how Will Howard is a prototypical professional quarterback, and he thought he's going to move up draft boards, especially if they win tomorrow. But We'll get to Ohio State here in a little bit. The Browns, get back to your original question. The Browns are definitely going to draft quarterback high. They're going to bring in a veteran that can start and play in Kevin Stefanski's offense. As much as I hate it, it's probably Kirk Cousins. I already think that's happening.
I know.
If it were me and you are looking at a Jalen Milroe, or you're looking at a more of a, what's the word I'm looking for, a modern quarterback, I would do everything I could to get Justin Fields to be your starter next year. Get him. I mean, he can run all that. He can maybe revitalize his career, given the starting position, saying, "Hey, look, we got this rookie. He's sitting. We're playing you. We're going with you." He didn't have that. He had that. Maybe I don't know if he's ever had that. Even in Chicago, like he always had competition. He wasn't playing bad in Pittsburgh, and they benched him for Russ. I would love to see Justin Fields, but definitely, I think it's going to be Kirk Cousins. I think they'll bring in another quarterback, another veteran quarterback to just kind of mentor. You're going to have your starting quarterback, and you're going to have somebody to kind of mentor who the rookie is and work with the rookie.
The guy. I know the perfect guy.
Who's that?
Bring him back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Joe Flacco.
Flacco fever, baby.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Oh, I'm 100% in agreement with you.
Truthfully, I mean, take all of what he played, just how he lit a fire under the collective asses of that locker room when he came in, and then tried to rewrite his story a little bit from Cleveland too. From a quarterback perspective, and especially if you've got a rook QB, I mean, I really think that he would be a great mentor. And truthfully, as much as I'm not a fan of the pick, but there's a lot of smoke and there's fire. I do believe we will see Kirk Cousins in orange and brown next season. And again, not a terrible pick to mentor a rookie QB.
Well, the Kirk Cousins makes a lot of sense. He wants to start. He doesn't. I mean, he got benched this year for Michael Penix, and he didn't play well the last couple games. But coming off an Achilles, they were running a system more for Michael Penix, not for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins excels in Kevin Stefanski's offense. He already has. It's that Gary Kubiak play action system that Kevin Stefanski runs. He's been one of the best passers in the NFL for numerous seasons in that system. The big deal is by doing kind of what I'm seeing here, you're not going to have to pay Kirk Cousins anything. He's going to get cut. Atlanta has to eat a salary. You can sign him for a veteran minimum. Very much what Pittsburgh did with Russell Wilson this year.
Right.
I don't know if people know that Denver paid most of Russell Wilson's salary this year. I see that with Kirk Cousins. So that offsets right there Deshaun Watson's his hit. You're going to bring a rookie in. That offsets that cap hit. And then, whoever your third string quarterback is going to get a small contract. So you're going to get three quarterbacks, probably better than the quarterback room they had this year. You're going to have any three of them will be more productive than anything they had this year. And they're going to pay less than probably what they pay for Jameis Winston. So, I just think that's what's going to happen. It makes a lot of sense football wise, and it makes a lot of sense financially. And, once again, then you don't have to worry about that cap hit from Deshaun Watson this year. They are going to get some cap relief, and then, there's good. And then, like next year, if he doesn't play at all, which he's never playing again for the Browns, they'll get that entire 40, I think it's 45 million back on next year's cap. So this is, financially, it's going to work out fine for the Browns, which is insane that we're actually at this point. It's going to work out fine. Once again, criticize Andrew Berry all you want, but his front office knows how to work that cap. They know what they're doing.
To be fair, they really do. They really, really do.
So I know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to bring up. I know we were going to talk. We were going to talk about the stadium a little bit, but I think we could push that off to next week because I really am sick and tired of talking Browns. I want to talk Buckeyes.
Got a big old game coming up tomorrow.
That's what I hear. Let's get the daddy. Let's get the daddy.
Going dancing, baby.
The ATL. By the way, just off topic, tickets to get in the game, $800, but you can get a hot dog there for $2. Did you see what they did with session prices in Atlanta?
No.
Yeah, I was on the Bleacher Report today. They're like, yeah, you might not be able to get in the game, but if you do, you could definitely afford the food. Like there was nothing on the menu there over $5. Yeah,
really.
I really think they're trying to offset the cost of a ticket because like it's $800 to get in right now. That seems to be the face value of a ticket.
Because of the lovely reseller market, because Ticketmaster is absolute trash. I don't care.
And you have two of the blue bloods of college football playing. I mean, there are very few teams that travel like Ohio State and Notre Dame. So, that place is going to be rocking. And they knew they'd get their money. They get their money out of it.
Absolutely.
So let's talk national championship game.
So this is our 6th championship appearance.
Yep.
6.
No, that's more than 6.
What's that?
More than 6. It's more than 6, right? They won 6, right?
No. It's our okay. So let me rephrase that. It's our 6th appearance since we moved to the college football, like the
6 playoff appearance. Yeah, 6 playoff appearance. Yeah, so this would be they won in 14. They played in 20, 21. Because Ryan Day played for 1, and then so this is his second appearance in the national championship game. So.
Going up against, an Ohio boy through and through, Marcus Freeman.
What a job that guy's done.
What's that?
What a job that guy's done.
He really has. You know what? So, dude was born on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, goes to high school in Huber Heights, and then comes to play for The Ohio State University, 2004 to 2008. But here's the deal. I'm not going to throw a whole lot of love his way right now, only because there is a comment that recently resurfaced.
Yeah, I know where it's going.
Exactly, folks, and I got to do it.
By the way, folks, we did not talk about this before the pod, but I know exactly where BB's going with this.
So before I get into where he already knows I'm going to go, first of all, let's like and subscribe, please and thank you.
Hit that thumbs up button.
Hey. So the resurface quote was from December 7th of 2021 when he was announced as the head coach at Notre Dame. And, it talks about how when he was going through his selection for colleges, it came down to Ohio State and it came down to Notre Dame. And clearly he chose Ohio State. He ends this letter by saying, I just thank God that I didn't make the same mistake twice. So, with that being said, one of his first 3 games that he had as a head coach of Notre Dame was against his alma mater. And he did not come away with a win. He is actually the first coach in Notre Dame history, I believe, that started his career with 3 losses, 3 straight losses. So I'm just hoping you're thanking God for a second chance that you didn't make a mistake twice.
So
I'm just hoping history repeats itself tomorrow night.
I don't buy a lot of stock into what somebody says when they get a job. They're thankful they got a job. They got to rally the base. They got to get the boosters. They got to get the alumni. I think if we were behind closed doors and he was speaking freely, he was happy to be a Buckeye. He's an Ohio guy. He played for Jim Tressel, and I think I might mention on here a buddy of mine played for Jim Tressel, and the amount of loyalty, respect to that man that they have. I don't think Marcus Freeman. I think, like I said, if we put him on lie detector, the results would be a little more interesting. But regardless, he did say it.
He said
that
it.
is what that is the old bulletin board material that as we have talked about, the Buckeyes seem to enjoy. Anytime somebody talks. Oh, you were going to talk about Malik Zaire?
Who?
Malik Zaire, former quarterback of Notre Dame. You know who I'm talking about.
I do, because I actually have notes. But what I'm saying is, so you are correct. The Buckeyes do absolutely respond to bulletin board material, and during the Cotton Bowl, former Notre Dame quarterback Malik Zaire took to Twitter, because let's call it what it is. I refuse to call it by its new name. And comes out and says, and now mind you, he said a lot of things out of the wrong cheeks were talking that night. So I don't know if there were beverages that were involved, or maybe Notre Dame's offensive line really wasn't that great. I'm just saying, he's taking a few to the dome piece. There may be some CTE. I don't know. Here's the deal.
So before you say this, by the way, before you say this, before we get into this, I literally have forgot he was a quarterback at Notre Dame.
I didn't know he was a quarterback at Notre Dame until I started seeing all of the trending stuff, and I'm like,
I am a college football junkie, and I had totally forgot that guy was a quarterback at Notre Dame until I saw this quote. Anyway,
so
take it.
The comment that, and again, like I said, there were several of them that evening. All the great quarterbacks that Ohio State has had the last 15 years, and Howard is definitely the worst one by far. So now I see that, and again, now I put my little detective hat on, because first of all, as I'm reading this article going, who are you? So I did some detective work. And I had to dig
because record books.
I had to dig. So let's see here. 2014, he was a backup and started 2 games. 15, he was injured on the 2nd game. 2016 is a banner year for football in a lot of different arenas. That was the year that, the Browns go 0-16. Wonderful things happened that year. You know what happens in 2016 for Malik Zaire? Malik Zaire loses the starting quarterback position at Notre Dame.
I think I know who too.
To DeShone Kizer.
It all comes back to the Browns, doesn't it? We can't escape.
It does. And it does. And first of all, I never wanted to hate on DeShone Kizer. He's another one. I wanted to like him.
Yeah.
Baby. Oh my God. So you lose your starting spot to DeShone Kizer. And then 17, he's like, all right, I've had enough shame at Notre Dame. 2017 is like, I'm going to take my talents to Florida. I'm going to be a Gator.
I forgot he went to Florida.
So, yeah, we're doing it all. We're doing the tour of shame. Starts 2 games for the Florida Gators. Loses both of them. And I mean bad. So for his entire college career as a starter, has a 57% completion rate. So here's the deal. If he wants to talk about worst quarterbacks, at least he's got a baseline to know where to start. Now, he declares for the... Oh, no, we're not done. Hold on. I'm a Billy Mays you. Because wait, there's more.
More.
2018, he declares for the draft and goes undrafted. I'm going to be really honest. I could not see that one coming. I figured somebody would be like, throw him a pity pick or something. No, undrafted.
So he didn't light it up at the combine. He did not have a relative athletic score that was high enough for him to make the Browns at least. Okay.
Dude, the Browns didn't even want you. Second of all, you get somehow, I don't know if like your aunt or your mom's second cousin twice removed hairdresser knew somebody, but he gets an invitation to go and try out at a mini camp with Jacksonville and is cut by the 3rd day. Dude, my brother in Christ, clearly football is not your jam, okay?
Hey, Malik, if you're watching this verbal beatdown of your entire football career, please like and subscribe to I-71 Playbook Pod.
We'd love to have you, buddy.
Comment below.
To throw this into a little bit of perspective, though, in 3 CFP games, so this is all postseason stats, not even full season, 3 postseason college football playoff games for Mr. Will Howard. 6 touchdowns. Okay. Not bad. Which is more than Malik Zaire has had his entire football career. 3 games. Passing yardage in 3 college football games. 919 yards. Again, not terrible. In 3 years at Notre Dame, 3 years, 816 passing yards. So clearly, those who cannot talk shit behind a cell phone.
So, anybody who is watching this, you are now getting the full BB, and it is a wonderful, wonderful thing that has kept our friendship lively for now a decade. That was it.
Hold on. To be fair,
yes.
To be fair, we have gone technically 8 episodes, 7th that is being released to the masses. I have not dropped an F-bomb.
No, you have not. The S-bomb was a first. The S-bomb was a first.
It was, and I apologize to our younger viewers. That is my fault. I will put myself in the corner later, I promise.
I'm legit crying. If you told me, hey, what's on the pod tonight, I did not realize that would be the eulogy for Malik Zaire, but here we are.
I got carried away. I'm sorry. I was rolling.
No, in no way did you say anything that was untrue or undeserving. Because when I saw that quote, and I was just like, I know that name. That name sounds familiar. And I'm like, oh my God, he was a quarterback very,
I think you and I started
unsuccessful.
talking about it during the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you sent it to me first or if I found it and I sent it to you. I don't remember, truthfully. But that's when it would kick me off. I'm like, all right, so let me go see this dude's stats.
So you just got flagged for just stepping over his body. That you got that unsportsmanlike for that rant. That was amazing. Hats off to you. Hats off to you.
Again, you told me at the beginning of the pod that this was going to be a penalty box kind of night. You know what? I will take 5 for fighting all day long, and I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna do it again.
I'm just really glad you didn't have that heat for Cam Ward. Anyway, moving on. So, let's talk about tomorrow night's game.
Tomorrow night's game.
Let's talk about the Natty. So let's talk keys to the game.
Okay.
I'll give you a second. Like, we have not prepped this, so I'll give you a second to kind of think about it. I personally want to give a message to the Ohio State Buckeyes on this roll. There's some commonalities that they have demonstrated when games have been close or they have lost. And those commonalities have been first with Nebraska, which was way too close of a game against Nebraska. Then the loss to Michigan, and then Texas. Texas tried this a little bit, not successful. What Nebraska and Michigan had in common was they said, hey, run the ball. Run the ball between the tackles. Forget about that first round future Pro Bowl talent you have on the outside. Forget about track speed Travion Henderson. We want you to run them up the middle because we think we're tougher than you. And Nebraska, they fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
In Michigan, they fell for it. And Michigan just happened to have the front four to stop the run.
They did. And
Ohio State has this, I'm going to use a big word, make my mom proud, proclivity.
Ooh.
This proclivity to try to show how tough they are.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow, Buckeyes, Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, Jim Knowles. I'm going to tell you what Papa E, my dad, used to tell me before a game. Very simple. Play your game.
Yep.
Play your game. You can't be beat if you play your game. Notre Dame cannot compete with you if you play your game. You force your style of play. You do not get down in the mud with Notre Dame. Notre Dame is going to want to slog this thing up. They are not going to make mistakes. They're not going to get penalized. They are going to play sound fundamental football, but they do not have the talent that you have. They do not have the explosiveness you have. Ohio State, play your game. Because Nebraska, fool me once. Michigan, fool me twice. Notre Dame, just don't get fooled again.
That's
Sorry,
right.
my terrible George W. Bush. So anyway, seriously, Ohio State, they go out, they don't try to force what they are not, because Will Howard did say something prophetic, and I know once again people are like, "Oh, it's bullshit." No, Ohio State can only beat Ohio State. Like,
that is true.
They beat themselves in the first Oregon game. They beat themselves against Michigan. Last week, and really, now we've stepped back over a week now since the Texas game, they did not play well. The defense did. Don't get me wrong. The offense did not play well.
Right.
And they still won by 14 points. And so it's going to be a Herculean effort for Notre Dame to stay in this game. That being said, Ohio State has to let them stay in the game. So my key to the game, Ohio State, play your game, and you're going to come home with the trophy. You're coming back to Columbus with the trophy.
Seems pretty simple, right? You know,
football doesn't have to be hard.
It doesn't.
It doesn't have to be hard.
That's what worries me a little bit going into this, is because, and as much as I will rag on him And it's not that he can't win big games. It's sometimes Ryan Day does what we all do, which is gets in his head and starts to overthink things. And then it overcomplicates, and then it's a problem. There are a lot of similarities with how Notre Dame's defense stacks up and compares to Michigan's defense. So that makes me
very similar teams.
It
Absolutely.
makes me a little nervous, because we've got a little PTSD going on. I think you're right. If we play our game and keep the stupid penalties, like the unnecessary penalty. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get a game completely perfect. I mean, stuff's going to happen and whatever, and I understand that. But if it's stuff that you can control and you can avoid, it's all going to come down to clock management as well. So I think as long as we are sharp, we are on our game, we are good to go. I think we're coming home with some hardware. And I really, really hope, because this is a special group of guys. Clearly, I mean, this offseason has shown us what we could have had all season, all year long. But something had to happen for it to snap and for everybody to really, really dial in. And I want these guys to come home with hardware. I want, the seniors who came back. That will be their legacy.
I heard a crazy stat today. So before the season, Ryan Day was 2-5 against top 5 teams. This year, he has a chance to go 5-1 against top 5 teams in one season. And so, when Ohio State wins this tomorrow, and we look at the path through the play, what they had to do, beating Tennessee, beating Oregon, the number 1 team in the nation, beating Texas, the best team in the SEC. So you beat 2 SEC teams, you beat the best team in the nation. Not to mention a revenge
game too.
Not to mention you've already beat Penn State, which was another playoff finalist, quarterfinalist, or I'm sorry, semifinalist, and then you top it off by beating Notre Dame. I don't think there's much of an argument for this as one of the best teams ever in college football history, just because of the path they had to go and what they had to do to get there. But yeah, so that being said, we are both on the same page. Ohio State can only beat Ohio State. They play a clean game. They should roll tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Notre Dame's going to want to run it. Nobody's been able to run against Ohio State all year, except for Michigan. Which once again, this is those close games. But one thing, Notre Dame's in trouble because their offensive line is just tattered right now. But they play a clean game. Ohio State should win this game. So, BB, score predictions.
I always hate these because there's so many variables. Truthfully, I mean, I'm thinking it's 31 is popping out at me. 31 for Ohio State, possibly 24 for Notre Dame.
So Notre Dame covers.
I don't know. I mean, maybe Riley Leonard's mom doesn't send him a text message that says he sucks tomorrow. Which, side note, I actually think that's genius. Like, I think it's actually kind of cool. And for those of you who are not aware, and it started, when he was in high school, truthfully, he would ask his mom before any football game to text him that you suck. And it was because he's a phenomenal kid. He's great. He's really, really talented. And I think when he does declare for the draft, I think he will
he'll get drafted.
Have a career in the NFL.
Yeah, he'll get drafted.
Absolutely. Unlike Malik Zaire. Anyway.
Okay.
One final kick when he's down.
Top rope.
That's right. So,
oh my God.
But anyway, he is so used to hearing that he's so amazing and he's so talented and this, that, and the other. And as a way to keep himself grounded, like his head firmly on his shoulders, he needs his mom to remind him that you suck.
Moms are amazing, aren't they?
When he was so like when he was at Duke, when he was at Duke, he actually had a little bracelet that had his mom's handwriting on it, and it said "You suck." Like, it's just, I think it's hilarious. So hopefully,
it's kind of adorable.
Tomorrow,
actually.
There's like phone glitches, and like Mama doesn't tell him he sucks tomorrow. Like maybe. No, I don't know. Like honestly, I think it's a national
champion. It's a national championship game, and she just changes it up and says, "Honey, you don't suck. I love you," and he just totally craps the bed. I see it happening.
Not only. So that now it's the scene from like Willy Wonka. It's like, you lose. You stole fizzy lifting drinks. You get nothing. You don't suck in no national championship. Good taster.
Oh, R.I.P. Gene Wilder. R.I.P. Nobody did it better.
No. So I think, it's not going to be a blowout game, I think, from either side. I think it's going to be close. Hopefully not as close as the last time that Ohio State and Notre Dame came to, with eyelashes of seconds on the clock and, no thank you. I think it's going to be a tough game tomorrow night. I think there's probably going to be a lot of swearing in my living room tomorrow night. More so than normal.
I was about to say that's nothing new. Nothing new in the BB household. Yeah. So do you have a score? You have a final score? 31-24?
31-24 is what I'm going to go with.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going to channel 80s action hero, still out there acting, Sylvester Stallone for my prediction. 2 Stallone movies. So this game will be close in the first half.
Yes.
I'm going to say 14-10, Ohio State, 14-7, Ohio State. It's going to be close.
Okay.
And Buckeye Nation is going to be sweating. And Notre Dame's Nation, the Golden Domers, are going to have this just absolute euphoric sense of belief that they can do this. Then Ohio State at halftime. Is going to do Stallone movie number 1 from Over the Top, where he turns the hat on backwards. He means business. Nobody's beating him in arm wrestling, and they're going to have the talk. And Dave's going to go nuts, and then Will Howard's going to go nuts, and then finally Jack Sawyer's going to go nuts, and they're going to come out. They're going to come out of the locker room, where we get Stallone movie number 2, Rocky 3. When Clubber Lang was asked, Clubber, what's your prediction for tonight's fight against Rocky Balboa? Pain. And it's going to be pain for the Golden Domers. Ohio State 38, Notre Dame 10. Ohio State goes off in the third quarter. Makes no doubt they are the best team in the nation. Notre Dame, you gave you a good run, had a great season. Marcus Freeman, you can want to be a Buckeye again. It's okay. And we take home the Natty, and Ryan Day gets his redemption.
Credits. I love it. I did see something tonight as I was trying to finish up prep really quick. I know there was a lot of talk during the Cotton Bowl about Will Howard's hand. And apparently what happened, aside from him punching someone in the face mask, bad touch, William. Bad touch. Apparently it was a what's that?
That's it. Sorry, PSA to Will Howard. Do not get on BB's bad side. No punch and face mask. You saw what she just did to Malik Zaire. You do not want that to be you.
Just saying. apparently it was a broken blood vessel in the back of his hand, and it's not the first time that he's had that happen. He's like, oh yeah, it didn't hurt. Your definition of it didn't hurt and my definition of it didn't hurt.
I mean, his hand became a topographic map. I mean, come on. Like, jeez.
And I can't say the line from Deadpool that just came out of my mind. But anyway,
good BB. Good BB.
If you've seen it, if you've seen the original Deadpool, you know where I'm going. So
wavelength.
So, but he has reported that, everything's fine. Thankfully, it's his non-throwing hand, and he is good to go for tomorrow night. So, boys, bring it in close. Now this is going to be my comment to the Ohio State Buckeyes as you are preparing for one of the biggest games of your career this evening. Get a good night's sleep. Watch. Remember the Titans. Watch, maybe not Rudy, not this time. Mm-mm.
No, we don't want Rudy. We definitely don't want Rudy.
No. Watch Remember the Titans. Get in the morning, get some good night's sleep. Wake up in the morning, eat your Wheaties. Go kick some ass. So, with that being said, from the dog pound to the shoe and everything in between, I'm Bebe.
I'm BC.
This has been the I-71 Playbook Podcast.
Go Bucks!